Welcome to the Game of Life podcast, where we bring you inspiring softball stories, insightful tips from coaches and players, and explore how the game transcends its boundaries to become a metaphor for life. Whether you're a sports enthusiast, a casual fan, or someone just looking for inspiration, you're in for a treat. We'll unravel the tales that go beyond the scoreboard. Discover how perseverance and hard work on the field translates into resilience in your daily challenges. Learn about teamwork, leadership, and the unwavering spirit that fuels success, not just in sports, but in the game of life. Hi, Allie. How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Well, I'm good. I mean, the season started. We play like one of every 3 games because of the weather, and then they all get made up later in the year. But hashtag life in the Northeast.
I think, yeah, it's in the Midwest. I'm talking to some of my players right now. It's like all their games have gotten canceled so far, and now they have like 5 games in a week next week. So,
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we took the whole weekend off. Like we've been inside so much, inside gets old,
yeah, yeah.
especially once you've been outside.
It used to be crazy when we go play like the southern schools in Florida, and my whole team was like, it's crazy people get to play our sport outdoors all year round. Like, what's that like? So,
Yeah, that could be a whole nother topic because at the end of the day, you're not behind them in any means. Like the talent's not different, but it's just nice to be outside all the time.
yeah, definitely.
All right, so here's a topic I want to talk about tonight. We'll bang this out quick. In sport or in the real world, you choose your circle, right? You choose who you're going to hang out with, your job, etc. But oftentimes in sports, your circle chooses you
Mm.
because you're put on a team with a lot of people from all different walks of life. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I love this. And I know you and I were talking a little bit beforehand, but this is just one of the best things about sports in my opinion. And I have a few stories about this. But if you think about it in the real world, I think sometimes we're really transactional with our relationships. And I'll explain what I mean by that is, when you meet someone, I think it's human nature to be like, what am I going to get out of this? Or like, what is this relationship going to do for my life or for me? Or where do I see this going? But in sports, you're brought together with somebody else because you have one thing in common. The rest of what's going on in your life, irrelevant, doesn't matter, but you have one thing in common. And ultimately, that connects you with another person. And I think honestly, it's a really cool thing. And, one story that always makes me laugh is there was someone on my team in college, and we literally talked about this. We were so different. And we were sitting down one day, and I was like, we both said, I don't think I ever would have met you. Like, we're so different. We just don't hang out with the same people, don't do the same things, but we love, like, have so much love for each other because we're on the same team and we grew to know each other really well. So I think sports is just a really cool platform to be able to meet people that, you may not have chosen to be in your circle, but you're so glad that they're there. And I honestly feel like, playing sports for so long, it's really opened my eyes to, all the different types of people and being more open, I guess, to, different relationships and really just getting to know more people than I think I would have if I wasn't in athletics. So those are my initial thoughts.
No, I love it. We talk about the game of life, and in reality, if you just go through life, you can pick your circles, you can pick like-minded people, you can all agree on the same things, you have your own echo chambers. But in sports, like you said, you have one thing in common, your sport, and then you learn to love each other based on that, and you learn to accept all your differences.
Hmm.
And I think athletes, if they take those lessons and go into the real world, you're going to learn that, all right, there's a lot of things about my coworker or business partner or member of local government. I mean, we could just go there that
Yeah.
there's so many things I don't agree with, but man, I was just out to dinner with them last night and we have this commonality and we need to nurture that. We don't need to compare all our differences. And I think that's what sports do. And it's never easy. I mean, we could have a whole episode on when I coach and when you played, like stories of how girls didn't get along. But at the end of the day, the good teams and good cultures are going to get along because they focus on what they have in common. and then they learn from each other for all their differences.
I think it's also really cool too. I mean, there's very other few spaces in your life or instances in your life where you're around so many different people just truly working toward one thing. Like you all have the same goal in some aspect of your life. And talk about being able to see different ways that people get to their goals, right? Like sports is crazy because we're all marching toward the same thing, but the way teammate A does it could be totally different from the way teammate B does it, but we can learn from each other. And I think that's also another really cool metaphor for life is sometimes you get so stuck in the way that like we're trying to achieve something. Maybe we can look at somebody else and take a little piece of, their approach and say, hey, maybe that would work for me. I really respect the way that they're carrying themselves through this or that they're approaching this and learn from each other that way too.
I love it because at the end of the day, like you should be around people that you want to get better with. And getting better with somebody doesn't mean you agree with somebody. It just means you both have the same goals, the same mindset, the same habits. You want the same results, and there's no guarantee. I mean, the joke with my team is life's not a Disney movie. Like the other team's trying too. Other people have differences. Yeah, other people want to see you fail. So if you can find your circle, but I think you're stronger when you have a circle based on common common interests. They don't have to be the same.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we limit ourselves in our everyday life, right? Like you think, oh, I know the type of people I get along with, or I have my circle, like I don't need to try anymore. I don't need it. But like what sports has taught me is I love talking to people. Like I genuinely do. I probably get that from you, but I love listening to people's stories. I love just communicating. Like I'm the girl on the plane who sits down, and if the person next to me wants to talk, I'll chat too, right? Like I know that's a really polarizing topic is whether people like to talk on planes or not. But I love chatting with strangers. I love hearing what they're doing. I love learning about them. And I think part of that can be attributed to sports and the athletic community is just being able to strike up conversation with people around you. Like we're all walking through life. We all have things going on. We all can learn from each other. So I think sports has just taught me that too. But I know that's something, you are really passionate about as well. If you want to talk about that, like what is it for you that makes you enjoy just talking to random people so much?
Well, every time you talk to a random person or somebody you don't know, you can learn from them. I mean, they have stories, they have backgrounds, they have perspective that you don't have. And sometimes you find you have a lot of commonalities in your journeys with them. And I just think every time you talk to random people, you have a chance to be better.
Yeah, I agree. And I like, the idea I've heard, I think from you and maybe a book you read is like you're one connection away from, something going different in your life. Or, I mean, if I think back to even high school, like I didn't know the people I met in college. In college, I didn't know the people in Illinois now. In Illinois now, I didn't know the girls that I coached until now. So I feel like it's just really important not to put a limit on yourself on the number of people that you can have. And I know we keep calling it a circle, but to me, I feel like circle seems to
Right.
like
Too
formed
many
already. It's gotta
there's a
be,
boundary.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's gotta be more fluid than that. So I don't know. I just feel like athletics, and I know we talk about it as a metaphor for life often, but truly, I feel like in general, people don't talk about enough the fact of how many people that it brings into your life and how many people it allows to stay in your life. I mean, there's people I played with on travel that I haven't talked to in years, and then we pick back up right where we left off. Like a random example is I was flying a while ago and I ended up in an airport in upstate New York, not where near where I needed to be. And I called one of my friends I used to play travel with, and I haven't talked to her in a while, and she came and picked me up from the airport. Like it's just little things like that where once you're, on a team with somebody, you go through trials and tribulations together, like they're a part of your life. And I think it's just a really, really cool bond that you form with people. So,
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Because 100 years ago, we talk circles. Your circle would have been so small based on where you can travel. And your circle could be made up of people from all over the country or all over the world based on the interactions you have when you travel and meet people.
mhm.
And I think that's the best way to feel grounded. That's the best way to have perspective. That's the best way to not compare, but to understand there's different ways to do things.
Well, and I think too, what kind of what I was talking about before, and I think everybody's probably felt this way. Like we're all a little bit transactional. It's just human nature, and we try not to be. But I think the other thing that sports teaches you, like I've had so many teammates teach me things about myself. And whether it's how I react to things, being more positive, being a leader, I think when you're part of a team, you get more feedback out of a friendship than you would of just a friendship, I'm gonna call it out in the wild and like not on a sports team, right? Because when you're playing a sport every day, it's almost the environment created where you're giving and receiving feedback all the time. And like, yes, that can be as an athlete, but it's also as a person. Like, oh, Allie, you could have said that better, or you need to fix your attitude, or you need to do this. And I don't necessarily know if we say that to our friends all the time. I think we have certain friends that do, but it's not necessarily something like at the forefront of all the conversations we're having. Where when you're on a team with someone, we can just look at each other and be like, your attitude sucks today. Like you got to fix it. And I think it's really cool to have relationships that are that transparent where you're able to communicate with each other like that in a way that's almost encouraged in that environment. And it really helps you look yourself in the mirror and kind of see the areas where you can improve.
So from what I'm getting, when you talk about transactional relationships, it's not about what can you give me. It's about what can I learn from you to make me better.
Or what can we learn from each other? Like
Oh,
I think
okay.
I
Yes.
think I think there's so many different ways. I think it's what can I learn from you? What can we learn from each other? Maybe you're going through a hard time. Maybe I need to be there for you. Like I don't like the word transactional. I just said that because I think it resonates with a lot of people. To me, it's more every relationship you have is in your life for a reason. I truly believe that. So we can't look at it as, oh, what am I going to get out of this or why is it here? Well, it's in your life, so make the most of it. Um, I think, a quote I hear all the time is like sometimes people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So like people who are in it for a reason, maybe you're supposed to learn something from each other and it's short-lived. A season is kind of like, hey, we did this together, or I met you through this, and then we go our separate ways. Or a lifetime is, you're for lifers is what I call it, or, people who are in your life for a long time. And I sometimes like to think about that of every person you meet, good or bad, right? Because, maybe bad's a strong word, but we all have people in our life who maybe we didn't have the best experience with. But I think we can all say it taught us something, just like every other aspect of your life. So I like, reason, season, lifetime is, and when it comes to relationships.
I love that. And two things. People sometimes, if you don't understand that, there might be a person in your life for a reason or a season, and then you hang on to them too long.
Hmm.
And that's not good for you either. And then instead of transactional, I mean, maybe we just use the word mutual relationships.
Hmm.
Everything should that I mean, whoever you come across, differences aside, length of time in the relationship, it should be mutual.
I agree. I agree. And I think to your point of sometimes you hold on to people for too long, I also think sometimes we don't do a good enough job of putting enough effort into the relationship to make it mutual. Sometimes it's, oh, it's for a season, like that's it, but you have to put an effort with people in your life to, be a part of their journey. And I think that goes both ways. So I guess what I'm saying is it's just important to evaluate the relationships in your life and, make sure that you're helping each other in a way that, friends should, or being there for each other in a way that friends should. So I think it's just always important to evaluate because I think sometimes people say too, like, oh, well, they haven't reached out to me. Why am I going to reach out to them? Right. Like that's kind of more transactional, but really like we're all just here to care for each other. We're all here to love each other. So I think just having that less transactional mindset and more of like, how can I help this person or how can they help me or how can I show up for somebody else? Because I think showing up is kind of the best way to manage your relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you have a relationship where someone's not showing up, that's the biggest red flag that it's time to move on.
Mhm.
And but you have to work at it too. I mean, this is good stuff. Any
Yeah.
closing thoughts?
I mean, I think my biggest piece of advice would just be if you're someone on a team right now, and maybe there's a girl or two, like we're all in high school season, right? Maybe there's a girl or two on your team that, not that you've written off, but you're just kind of like, oh, well, we're not close. My question is, well, have you put in the effort to try? Like, have you put in the effort to get to know them? Have you stayed curious about the fact that like maybe you have more in common than you think, just because you weren't close before or came from different paths or whatever the case may be? Try. Like put effort in because I think you'll really surprise yourself with the relationships you can create with your teammates, even if you maybe initially thought that they weren't someone that you would gravitate towards. I mean, I when I was a freshman in college, I got so close with the two seniors on my team to the point that like I still have a relationship and talk to them to this day. And then vice versa, when I was a senior, I got really close with the freshmen on my team. And I think a lot of that was kind of cyclical, right? Of like, oh, that was the expectation for me. And I think it's just really easy sometimes to be like, I'm good, like I have my circle, whatever the reason may be. But I think just stay curious, stay open, and think about how you can show up for people because sometimes that'll inspire them and it'll kind of trickle down throughout their life as well.
So I'm writing this down. Stay curious, stay open, and show up for people.
Hmm.
I think that's the exact opposite of transactional.
Yeah, show up
So
for people. Yeah.
yeah, we got it. Hey, this was great.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, I'll show up for you any day. We'll
Yeah.
talk to you.
All right, bye.